Oh man, you look so boring. Oh no, please do not say this in English. This is extremely rude. Hi, I'm Vanessa from SpeakEnglishWithVanessa.com. Today I want to help you avoid these 5 common speaking mistakes. Yes, mistakes are an essential part of learning anything new, and you shouldn't be embarrassed that you make mistakes sometimes, but part of getting better is avoiding common mistakes, and that's what I'd like to help you with today. I've created for you a free PDF worksheet with all 5 of these common speaking mistakes, what the mistakes are, and how to avoid them. You want to make sure that you get that part correct. You can click on the link in the description to download that free PDF worksheet and also answer Vanessa's challenge question at the bottom of the worksheet so that you never forget what you've learned. All right, let's get started with the first common speaking mistake. The first common speaking mistake is the one you just heard, boring versus bored. It's understandable that these words are a common mistake because they both have a similar meaning. They talk about something or someone that's not interesting. But the difference comes in how we use them grammatically. The word boring is for something or someone that's not interesting. That movie was boring. Ugh, I went on a date with him and he was so boring. He just talked about sports the whole time. It's not a compliment. But the word bored refers to the feeling you have when you watch that boring movie or when you go on that boring date, you feel bored. So at the beginning of this lesson, when I said, oh man, you look so boring. Oh no, that's not nice. It means you're not interesting. Instead, I should have said, oh man, you look so bored. It means you're not doing anything fun. You feel like you need some more fun in your life. I feel bored. Let's look at a couple sample sentences. This documentary about sand is boring. I feel so bored. Can we please watch something else? I was so bored during that lecture. To me, physics is just boring. Sorry, people who like physics. So now I have a little quiz for you. I want you to choose, is the word boring or bored the best fit for this sentence? Vanessa's lessons are not. I never feel. What's the correct answer here? I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Vanessa's lessons are not boring. I never feel bored. Oh, I hope that's true. Common speaking mistake number 2 is one that native English speakers make too. It is well versus good. Have you ever heard someone say, I don't feel good? You know what? That's a mistake. Instead, it should be, I don't feel well. What's the difference? Let me tell you. The word well is an adverb. That means it adds something to the verb. So when you say, I don't feel well, well is talking about how you feel. I don't feel well. I have a headache. I have a stomach ache. I need to go lie down. If you said, I don't feel good, this means that my sense of touch is not good. Maybe you burned your fingers. Yeah, I just don't feel good anymore. It's a very unusual thing to say. So instead, when you're talking about your health, you can use this correctly and say, I don't feel well. What about the word good? Well, the word good is an adjective, so it needs to describe a noun. You might say, wow, Vanessa, this is a really good lesson. Good is describing lesson. Or you could say, I really need a good grade in this class or I'm gonna fail. I do want to tell you of an exception in spoken English. I mentioned that sometimes native English speakers use this incorrectly, but there is one case when we use it incorrectly, and I actually recommend using it like that so you don't seem too snobby. Let me tell you about it. If someone asks you the common greeting question, how are you doing? And you want to answer with grammatical correctness, you would need to say, I'm doing well. And you? But you know what? If you said this, someone might think, oh, did you come from the 16th century? Are you an English professor? Maybe you are. But in this case, it's grammatically correct, but it is not commonly used, and it feels a little bit weird in just daily conversation. So what should you say instead? Well, here you have it, your English teacher telling you to make a mistake on purpose. And that is if someone says, how are you doing? You could say, pretty good. And you? Good is actually the most common response, even though it's not technically grammatically correct. Who knew? You should make mistakes. So now it's time for a little test. Can you choose which word fits in which blank? Good or well? I need to do on that test because I need a grade. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. I need to do well on that test because I need a good grade. Great work. Common speaking mistake number 3 is another pair of similar words, and that is job versus work. These both mean your career, something that you do generally to make money, but they function differently grammatically in a sentence. The word work can be both a verb, I work, or it can be a noun. My work is as a teacher. And the word job can only be a noun. So let's take a look at a couple sentences. My job is to manage my team. This is a noun and it's talking about your career. My job is to manage my team. Or you could say, I work on the marketing team. This is as a verb. What if we put these together in a sentence? You could say, I work with a lot of interesting people at my new job. Ooh. I do want to teach you 2 things to be careful of with these 2 phrases. One is a fixed phrase that you will use often, and that is at work. This is talking about the place where you work. Where were you at 6 o'clock tonight? We were waiting for you at dinner. You might say, sorry, I was at work. I had to do something extra before I left. Or you could say, I was so busy at work today. Yes, it's talking about the place, but this is a fixed phrase that you can use to talk about where you were. I was at work. I was busy at work today. Earlier, I mentioned that the word work can be used as a verb or a noun, and the word job can be used as a noun. So can they be used interchangeably at all? Take a look at this. You could say, I love my job, or you could say, I love my work. But be careful, there is a nuanced difference between these two. If you say, I love my job, cool. It just means what you said. I like what I do to make money. But when you say, I love my work, this feels like there's a deeper significance to what you do at your job. For example, maybe you help homeless people to find a home, or you're helping people who are in a domestic violence situation get a better life. You are really changing people's lives kind of with a deeper significance. So if you say, I love my work, this has the underlying idea that you are changing the world, or at least changing someone's world. It's a very deep feeling. All right, now it's time for a little test. Can you choose which blank needs the word job and which blank needs the word work? For my I need to late hours. I'll give you 3 seconds. 2, 1. For my job, I need to work late hours. Great work. The next common speaking mistake are 2 similar words again, in and at. Oh my, I receive many questions from English students asking, Vanessa, how can I remember when to use in and when to use at? Well, let me give you some ideas. This is tricky because we use both at and in when we're talking about time, but we use the word at specifically for specific times. For example, at midnight, at 5 o'clock, at noon. This is at specifically that time. But the word in is used more generally. Take a look at this. In the morning, in the evening, in 5 minutes, in 6 hours. You didn't say at 3:30. You said, no, we'll have a meeting in the morning, in the evening, in 5 minutes, in 6 days. Let's take a look at some sentences. Can you meet me at noon? I know that that's only in 30 minutes, but can you make it? So I'm asking you, hey, I know this is last minute notice, but can you make it? Can you meet me at noon, this specific time, in the duration of time, in 30 minutes? Let's take a look at another one. You're invited to my birthday party. The party is in 10 days and it starts at 7 o'clock. Wonderful. Are you ready for a little test? I want you to decide which blank needs the word in and which blank needs the word at. Take a look. 3 days when my vacation starts, I won't need to wake up 6 a.m. anymore. Whew, I can sleep in. All right, I'll give you 3 seconds to decide. In 3 days when my vacation starts, I won't need to wake up at 6 a.m. anymore. It's so nice on vacation to sleep in. If you would like to dive deeper into this topic, I made another video comparing in, on, and at, and over 500,000 people have found clarity with this video. You can click on the link up here to watch that in more detail. Our fifth and final common speaking mistake is to talk with someone or to talk to someone. I want to show you 2 sentences and I want you to guess which one is the best. I'm talking with my friend or I'm talking to my friend. Which one do you think is better? I'll give you 3 seconds. Let's do our quiz now. 3, 2, 1. Well, you know what? This is a trick question because both of these are equally acceptable in spoken English conversations. I have heard that some people say when you use talk to someone, it has the sense that there's an authority. I'm talking to someone who has less authority than me. I talked to my employees. I talked to my child. But really, in daily spoken English in the US, we use both of these phrases interchangeably. You could say, I talked to my boss about the important meeting next week. I talked to my child. I talked to my friend. Or you could say, I talked with my friend. I talked with my boss. You could use these interchangeably in spoken English, and it's not a problem. So if you're one of those English learners that has ever wondered, should I say talk to or talk with? You know what? You can just take that concern and throw it out of your brain. It doesn't matter. Well, congratulations on learning these 5 common speaking mistakes so that you don't make them the next time that you have a wonderful English conversation. Well, I have a question for you now. Let me know in the comments, what is your job? Use this word correctly, and I can't wait to see what you do. Don't forget to download the free PDF worksheet. This is an important one because it will outline all of these common speaking mistakes and how to fix them, including sample sentences, so that you can level up your English speaking skills. You can click on the link in the description to download that free PDF worksheet today. Well, thank you so much for learning English with me, and I'll see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye! But wait, do you want more? I recommend watching this video next, where you will learn 5 more common speaking mistakes, including a common mistake that English learners make when they're telling what time it is. Make sure that you watch that video and don't make that mistake yourself. I'll see you there.